Alright, so I wanted to do a video review on a portable workbench that I picked up from RIDGID. I also picked up a shop vac from them as well, just to kind of help me with some of the projects that I've got going on. One of which is going to be a kayak stand so I can get my kayaks off the sawhorses. Another is a table that I need to refinish. And then of course this sub enclosure for the FJ. Now, when it comes to sub enclosure for the FJ, I felt like I was going to benefit from a router table, and that's kind of the positive of this. Is not only is it a portable workbench, but it does also operate as a very basic router table. So in the center you'll see there's a plywood router plate. You'll pretty much just remove that like you would with any other router plate. You'll line up your router on the back of it, mark your holes, drill them, and then mount your router to the plate, reinstall it, and there you've got a very basic router table. There are clamps that are included with it. Now those clamps will go into this track, and they allow you to mount like a piece of wood or something like that to use as a fence if you so desired with the router table itself. Other than that, on the front you'll see that it supports up to 1,000 pounds. I don't know if I trust it with 1,000 pounds. So it is reinforced plastic and aluminum, and there were some quality issues that I'll go into in a minute that I noticed. So to me, it's supporting up to 1,000 pounds lets me know that anything I would put on it, it will support, because I will never put anything near 1,000 pounds of weight on this thing. So let's go ahead and dive into it. There is a built-in handle, since it is designed to be portable for like job site application. On the back you have your leg storage and the clamp storage. So now these actually go in and come out very easily. So on the leg itself, this little bottom piece is pivotable. Since they do go in at a slight angle, it will give you that footing that you need on it. There is no adjustability to this though. So if, for example, you're on an uneven surface, you cannot adjust this to get that surface even. Now, I'm going to touch on the first quality issue that I saw. One of these that I picked up was cracked right here, and this piece was just completely loose, okay? So I did have to exchange that one out, and I just felt like this plastic is a little thin down here. So, I mean, on this one that I have now, this feels perfectly fine, but like I said, that one that I had a split right down it, and it just seemed kind of thin. It could have just been that particular one. Now, the way that these mount in, they basically just slide in and then they turn over, okay? And it'll lock it into place. So, that's it. Take that out. Clamps, I'm going to remove those. And that's it. Clamps themselves fit in here. They are kind of loose in here. You probably heard them rattling around a little bit. But since it is a little bit of a bigger compartment, if you wanted to store other things inside of it, I guess you could. But realistically, that's kind of what it's set up for. Just all the clamps. Okay, let's bring you in here closer. Now, these clamps are designed to slide into these tracks. Something that I noticed is they will not go in there with the non-marring piece on there, okay, that little plastic piece. There's just not enough room to get this in there and allow it to clear. So if you remove that piece, they work perfectly fine, okay, and they work as they should. I don't know if RIDGID intended that, and this piece is just so if you use these as a clamp outside of using them for the track here, then you could use this to keep it from marring it. Or if, you know, it's just a flaw, I'm not sure. So we'll go over one other issue that I saw that was a quality issue. Now, I had to go through 3 of these tables. The first one was not delivered. The second one was an in-store pickup, and that was the one that had the plastic broken on the foot. Then there was another one that I had picked up, and I'm trying to remember exactly what the issue was with that one. For the life of me, I can't remember right now. But I know the final issue was seeing these not actually countersunk. Okay, so it could have been that the plate was installed backwards and they were countersunk on the back. And when they were installed, they just did it from the opposite side. But it basically had these screws sitting up like easily a 1/16 of an inch. So now being that that's kind of hidden from the back side, I don't know if it was countersunk back there or not. So that could have been the case. The other issue that I had was this piece here is an insert. So you can kind of see this gap. And I ran into it where this, let's see if I can, you'll see it over here. So these little clips are part of this top piece and they push down. And I ran into it where one of these clips had not been properly seated. So this top plate was bowed up. And since it had been like that for so long, that plastic really didn't want to fully sit nice and level like this one does. It basically had a lip right here. And I didn't like that idea for it catching on stuff. Another issue is I ran into, that was the one I couldn't think of, the tracks not being seated fully properly. So now on that particular one, that was relatively an easy fix. That was just kind of pressing the tracks back into place because they are press fit in here. So that wasn't a big issue. But this was just for the fact, like I said, it had where right here where that seam is, that it basically was bowed up, and it sat probably about a 1/16 of an inch to 3/32 of an inch high, and it just created a lip that I didn't like on it. So beyond that, that's pretty much everything on them. They're pretty basic. This router plate is somewhat a standard size. There's actually a blue router plate that you can pick up from Rockler if you wanted to use that. So you could install that instead, and it's actually the same size. Now there's other plates that are either the metal or they're, I think there's a gray version of that same Rockler one. Those are not this size, they're actually bigger. So definitely make sure that you're getting the correct size plate for it. But it does fit a couple of the different models that I was looking at for those. So, but beyond that, that's pretty much everything on this table. So I'm happy with it overall, but it did take me about 3 different exchanges to get one that I was happy with. So if you do get one, I would recommend getting it from the store, because these are stocked in the store, and look it over, okay? Don't just grab it and go. Just take a second to actually look at it and make sure that everything looks good to you before you take off with it. They're not very much, by the way. They're only $100. And since it is a rigid product, much like all of Home Depot's stuff like that, it will definitely go on sale. And you could probably snag one for 20 or 30% off, you know. So, but that's everything on this portable workbench. Thanks.